inquiries and reports in the fixed assets, and then the parameters left in the fixed assets module. So let's see them. What are they? The different parameters available in the fixed asset module and in the inquiries and reports. So I'll take you through the legal entity. Initially, we'll discuss about the fixed asset parameters. So I'll take you to fixed assets module. Under setup, we always have parameters, as you know. Fixed asset parameters are here. So I can create fixed asset parameter. There are quite few parameters that guides the different operations and keep on conditions for the fixed asset transactions. So here we can see fixed asset. So you can see this one, minimum depreciation amount. So enter the lowest amount of depreciation that is allowed. Detailed rules for depreciation rounding can be set up separately for each depreciation. However, this is the minimum depreciation that will be calculated. See, if this minimum depreciation has to be calculated, there should be some depreciation base even. So if the base is minimum, the depreciation calculated will be at least 10. So it should not go less than 10. So if there is any other calculation, like if the depreciation calculated for the month is less than 10, it won't consider at all. It won't calculate at all. So to a minimum of 10 at least will be there. Less than 10, there won't be any depreciation calculated for the asset in any month and it won't be posted. So that's the parameter we have. So at least 10 should be there, and maximum it can be anything again. I mean, if you keep as so, if you keep 0 means it will be 0. It's up to you. Then you have multiple acquisitions. So you can allow multiple acquisitions for a fixed asset. So normally people will not opt for allowing multiple acquisitions for a single fixed asset. So if it is once acquired and if there are any additions being made to the existing asset, so they'll make it as an acquisition adjustment entry. No need of making multiple acquisitions. But if you enable this parameter, you can also post 2 or 3 acquisition transactions or multiple acquisition transactions on a single asset as well. So this will help you, but this control here in the parameters is applicable for all the assets. If you say it as no means it is no for all the assets. If you say it as yes means it is yes for all the assets, but we don't have it at the group level or at the asset level. We did not have it. So if you enable this configuration or this control, you have to be careful enough that users are not posting the multiple acquisitions for the unnecessary fixed assets. So there might be situations where you might have to post multiple acquisitions for some work in progress assets if required. So if they want to follow that kind of pattern, so then you can enable this one, post that, and again come back and disable this one. So that's how. But you don't know, not most of them will prefer to post multiple acquisitions on fixed assets since it will create some ambiguity. But they will use this acquisition adjustment transaction type, so that would be convenient. Then capitalization threshold is the option that I have. So capitalization threshold will be considered. It will be in this parameter level here, which is applicable for all the fixed assets, as well as you can also give in individual group wise. Individual fixed asset group wise, you can give fixed asset threshold limit. So threshold limit is the limit where it up to which value depreciation will not be calculated for the fixed asset. So if you give 2500 here for suppose, if you acquire an asset of 2500 and more, you will have your depreciation calculated on the asset. If it is less than 2500, if the acquisition value is less than 2500, no depreciation is calculated. Even though you assign depreciation profiles, depreciation will not be calculated because you have enabled some capitalization threshold. And those are not considered to be the capitalized assets and you don't calculate depreciation on them. So if in certain countries, they might have regulation that minimum asset value should be this much. So depreciation to calculate depreciation, if the asset value is less than that amount, depreciation will not be calculated on such assets. So you can give such kind of capitalization threshold control. So I want to show you at the group level of the fixed assets. In the fixed assets, set up fixed asset groups. So here we have capitalization threshold at the group level. So description is same. Then I mean, you will call it as help text actually, this one. Help text means it will help you to understand what is this particular field is related to. So here at group level you have, if you give something here, it will consider for the group level, for all the assets in the group, it will consider this one. If you give something here like 2500 here and 2000 here, so it will consider 2000 for the furniture and fixture. But for vehicles, since you don't give anything here, it will consider it from the parameters page, from the large context. So that's a one. And if at all you give at the group level or at the parameters level, if you enable this one, then only it is applicable. If not, it won't be applicable, or capitalization threshold will not be considered. Even though you give amounts, it won't consider. If you enable this flag, then only it will consider. Okay, this one. Then automatically create depreciation adjustments with disposal. So normally when you enable this option, it will automatically reverse the depreciation that is posted until now. It's not like how it is being how it is reversing like when we are done in the earlier sale, but it will reverse the exact transaction itself. Like accumulated depreciation will be credited and the depreciation will be debited, right? When you post a depreciation for the fixed asset, that entire transaction will get reversed automatically. So it will cancel all the expense transaction also, it will reverse automatically. I don't want to reverse the expense transaction, right? I only want to reverse the accumulated depreciation transaction. So I don't want to enable this parameter. But if you enable this parameter, it will reverse the entire depreciation that is posted for the asset while you are selling it. But I mean, most of them will not opt for it. It's not so good practice that you reverse your expense accounts, because the profit and loss because of that expense accounts is already prepared into the statements, or maybe in the past year you have used it already. Now if you are trying to depreciate reverse that depreciation of the previous years, then it's not correct. So I think that's what it is related to, depreciation adjustments with disposal. Then calculate prorated depreciation. Prorated depreciation in the sense it will calculate the depreciation on the basis of number of days, in case if you are acquiring asset in the middle of the month or middle of the year. So you can see some equations here for the same. So select this option to calculate prorated depreciation for a particular year based on the number of days left in the period. Prorated depreciation applies only when none is selected in the depreciation convention field in the books actually. If you select only none in the depreciation convention, then you can apply prorated depreciation. For example, asset is acquired on October 10th. The depreciation frequency is yearly. The expected depreciation for the year is 1200. If this option is selected, depreciation is calculated as 272.88 for the first year's depreciation, because 22 days are left in the October month, 30 days are left in the November month, 31 days are left in the December month, totally 83 days. But for 365 days, 1200 has to be the depreciation according to this example. But we have only 83 days, right, left over in that year. So it will calculate the average depreciation for that 83 days. So 83 by 365 into 1200, which is like 272.88. So that's the prorated depreciation. What if we did not select this prorated depreciation option? So you can see it again here. If this option is not selected, depreciation is calculated as 270.97 for the first year. Like there are 2 full months remaining for the 12th month, so 22 days for the October month. So firstly, that 2 months depreciation will be fully calculated. So it's like this, and then that 22 by 31 days depreciation will be calculated for 1 month. Okay, only for the month there will be a fraction, but for the other 2 months, the yearly depreciation will be divided by 12. If at all I'm not calculating prorated depreciation, but if I calculate prorated depreciation, it won't consider the months at all. It will consider the all the days remaining. So number of days remain divided by 365 into the depreciation that is for the year. So you will have this prorated depreciation. But when you go for this one, I mean, if you don't enable the prorated depreciation for the 2 months, it will calculate the entire depreciation regardless, but only for the month that is in which you have bought the asset where the days were less. So for that only it will calculate the prorated depreciation only for the month. But for the remaining 2 months or 3 months, whatever is there, it will calculate the actual depreciation. So that's how. Normally 1200, right? Yearly depreciation. So if there is, I'll just give you a word explanation itself. Cancel this. What is it of? Suppose 1200 is the yearly depreciation according to that example. 1200 yearly means how much monthly? Ram is not anything. 100 here. Monthly 100. So if I'm according to this example, they're acquiring the fixed asset on October 10th. Okay. So let's say October 10th. October 10th means how many months you usually have? October you have, November you have, December you have. So if at all I do not enable that prorated depreciation parameter, for November month I'll have my 100. For December month also I'll have my 100. In the October month, how many days of depreciation it would be? It should be 22 days depreciation, right? So for 31 days, if it is 100 means for 22 days, it should be 22 divided by 31 into 100, right? And this should be the calculation for that 1 month. So it will be like 22 divided by 31 into 100, and like 70.96. So that will be here. 96. So 200 plus 70.96 will be 270.96 total depreciation for the year here for this particular 3 months. So this is when you do not enable the prorated depreciation parameter. But if you enable the prorated depreciation parameter, it will select the number of days actually. So yearly depreciation is 1200, right? So how many days are left? So this is for 365 days. How many days are left in this year when you acquired the fixed asset? 31 plus 30, 61 plus 22, 83 days are left over. So 83 divided by 365 into 1200. So it will calculate like this entire number of days left over by total number of days in the year into the total depreciation for the year. So it is like 83 into 365, sorry, 83 into 365, going wrong on 83 divided by 365 into 1200, 272.876. So that's how it is. It's like 272.87 or something like that. But whereas it comes to here, it will be 270.96, right? 200 plus 70.96. So there will be a slight difference. When you calculate, when this is when you have prorated depreciation parameter enabled, this is when you do not enable the parameter. And again, that parameter will be applicable only when you do not select any depreciation convention in the fixed asset books. For a fixed asset, if you select any depreciation convention, it will again calculate according to the convention. So conventions are basically used for calculating the depreciation for the first month or the first year of the asset, right? So we have already seen that concept. I shared you the documentation as well. So if that is enabled, then it won't work. If that is not enabled and if it is kept as none, then it will work. Okay, that's what about this prorated depreciation. Okay, then you can create a provision account for reserves. So account for revenue recognition of untransferred reserves. I'm not sure about this one. Nobody will use this provision for reserves account here, but you can select one main account here accordingly. So you'll see the list of accounts. You can select that reserve account, whatever you have kept the reserve for the situation of fixed assets. Then you can give a fixed asset. You normally run the fixed asset proposal, right? So you can give some default journals for current layer. What should the system pick? So this one you can say. So you can create many layers, right? So according to the layer, what should be the default journal you can give here. If you don't give here also, you can normally give there in the proposal page. In the proposal page, you have the option of selecting journal, right? So you can select the journal from there itself. It's not required, but you can give so that people can understand this, or it will automatically reflect in the while you run it. So you have accounting rules. You can select this accounting rule, posting profile, which we have already created earlier and inserted here in the parameters of fixed asset. So this general posting profile. Inventory journal, you can give that inventory to fixed asset journal where you can transfer the fixed. So this one we have created, right, for conversion of inventory to fixed asset. So we can select this journal. Then you can give the default book. So Companies Act book or Tax Act book, which is default. So normally Companies Act will be the default book. Deduct cash discount. So normally when you are buying a fixed asset, if there is a cash discount given by the vendor on that particular invoice of the asset that you are buying, and if you want to deduct the cash discount from the asset capitalized amount, so you can use this parameter, but not most of them would like to deduct the cash discount. Actually, they'll record the cash discount as revenue, but they don't want to reduce it from the asset value. So if you want to reduce the cash discount from the asset acquisition value, so you can select this one, deduct cash discount option. But I think that's the reason, but nobody will select it often. Then this is regarding barcodes. Auto number fixed assets. You can give auto number fixed assets, and you can give some barcodes again. So you have that barcode option here, auto number barcodes again in the group level, and you can give this barcode number sequence if you want to here. But if you give that, automatically a barcode will be assigned to the fixed asset normally. If not, fine. If not, I mean, if you opt to have barcodes for fixed assets, you can, but normally people will have no barcodes outside this module. They have their own barcodes, which they would attach as stickers to the fixed asset. So when they scan, they can easily identify a fixed asset. Normally, when the companies also issue laptops, they have their barcode attached behind your laptop or desktop sometimes. So that will be when they use this barcodes option. So barcode equals fixed asset number. Sometimes you can use the same barcode number as a fixed asset number only. So same whatever is the fixed asset number is there, that will be printed as a barcode too. So you can also use this option, and there is a periodic task for assigning fixed asset number to barcode. So if you run that periodic task, automatically the same fixed asset number will be created as a barcode for the fixed asset usually. And that's when you enable both these parameters. I think you have it somewhere here in the periodic tasks in the fixed asset module. Yeah, here you have assign fixed asset number to barcode, this one. If you run this, fixed asset numbers are automatically assigned as barcodes also to the same fixed assets. So that parameter will be in parallel to, I mean, that function or the periodic task will be parallel to these parameters. If you enable these parameters, then only you can run it. It's not required, but if you want to run it, so you can use them. Then this one, allow asset acquisition from purchasing, which is the main parameter to allow acquisition of a fixed asset through a purchase order. So if you enable this one, then only you can procure or acquire a fixed asset through a purchase order. Then you can also restrict this process of acquiring the fixed assets from a purchase order to set of users or to a group of users. You can give that user group here. Suppose if I give this MRF user group, so whoever are the users in this group, only they can perform that action of acquiring fixed asset through purchase order. Others do not have access for that action for acquiring fixed asset through purchase order. I will remove this group. So then I can create asset during product receipt or invoice posting. So if you enable this option, you have that option of selecting fixed asset group during in the purchase order level or in the invoice level. Means if at all you are not linking a fixed asset, existing fixed asset, you want a fixed asset to be automatically created and acquired during the purchase order process, you can select the fixed asset group option there and the book option. So automatically an asset will be created and numbered according to the number sequence that you have assigned in the group and will be acquired automatically. So, but this parameter will be controlling it. So if you disable this parameter, you cannot acquire a new fixed. I mean, you cannot create a new fixed asset automatically while you acquire it. If you have to first create a fixed asset master here in the fixed asset module and keep it as a not yet acquired asset, then you can link that to the purchase order. But you cannot automatically say system to create a fixed asset from procurement itself. Okay, so that's how it is. If you enable this one, you will have a choice of acquiring or creating and acquiring a new fixed asset during the PO level as well as at the invoice level. Okay, and then check for fixed asset creation during the line entity. So this is where we have some kind of rules we can give for fixed asset creation. So select this option to verify fixed asset is eligible based on existing fixed asset rules. This option is selected, fixed asset group is set to on purchase order line according to the defined fixed asset rules. So actually there is some rules called as determination rules in the procurement and sourcing module for procuring fixed assets. So you can keep some rules like, suppose if I am buying a fixed asset which is up to 5,000 value, it should fall into electronic equipment. 5,000 or less, it will be electronic equipment. If it is above 5,000, I can convert it as an office equipment. So system should automatically pick the group of the fixed asset depending upon the value of the item that I am procuring. Okay, you can give conditions as so. So if I am buying it for less than 5,000, it will be under electronic equipment group. Suppose fixed asset group is electronic equipment. Or if I am buying it more than 5,000, it will be into office equipment group. So that kind of rules and regulations you can actually give it here in the procurement and sourcing module, but not most of them will use it. In procurement and sourcing, we have some rules somewhere here. Last menu fixed assets. Here we have business rules for fixed asset determination. So in this page, actually you can give the determination rules. Okay, you can go through it once if just to check it what it is, but not required actually. So you can give some rules here. See, if it is 1,000, it will it will fall into one group. You can give that group here. So you have that conditions. If it is more than 1,000, you can give another group. So that kind of rules you can give here for determination. That's we call them normally as determination rules. Okay, this parameter is linked to that determination rules. However, not most of them opt to use it, and I'm not even using it. Then we have compulsory reason codes to be assigned to fixed assets. So if you enable this one, require reason codes for asset changes. Whatever the transaction that you are making, you should definitely give a reason code. And for which transactions you have to make it mandatory, like acquisition adjustments, I'll make it mandatory. And depreciation adjustments, I'll make it mandatory. And you can give any other, for any other adjustments also, you can give mandatory. Not only for adjustments, if you want all means, you can select all or you can directly select this one. So all of them will be moved this side. If you don't want anything, all of them will come this side if you select this one. So that's how. Reason codes will be compulsory for all such transactions when you enable this parameter and select that transaction types this set. Okay, you should definitely give a reason code in the journal level. So that's all about this reason codes compulsions. Then number sequences we have. We only have two here for fixed asset numbers and fixed asset transfers. Generally, fixed asset transfers does post a automatic voucher, right? So for that we have this fixed asset transfer automatic voucher number, and fixed asset numbers actually, if you can also give fixed asset numbers from here. So if you don't select anything at the group level, if you give something here, so it will automatically select that fixed asset number also. But generally we give it at the fixed asset group level, right? So it will automatically take from the group level only. That's a good practice though, giving the number of fixed asset numbers at the group level or the number sequence for the fixed assets at the group level. Here, this one. If I give it here, so for every asset, I'll have the same number. I mean, same kind of pattern. But when I give it group level as different patterns, so we'll have this different numbering system, right? So like this one, differentiation we have properly. Fixed asset vehicle. So if I see this one, furniture and fitting, I can understand it is furniture and fitting. And if I see this one, I can understand this is a vehicles because in the number I have unique format. So most of them would prefer to maintain fixed assets in this way only. Okay, so that would be all about the parameters in fixed assets. Very few only, but sometimes important. Remember them, and let's move on to the other topic in fixed assets, like inquiries and reports in fixed assets. So you have quite some inquiries, good inquiries and reports in fixed assets. Actually, you have this fixed asset transactions report where you can run the report and see the transactions that are posted for the fixed assets. So you can go to fixed asset transactions. It's an inquiry actually, not report. So you can see all the list of fixed asset transactions for all the assets. You can see here. If you want for separate asset, You can either go to the asset or you can also filter an asset here if you want to. If you want only the acquisition transactions, you can select transaction type as acquisition. Okay. Your transaction type as acquisition. So you can only see acquisitions. So these are all the acquisition transactions that I have. If you want only the Companies Act book, you can filter it with Companies Act book, CA book. If you want only the transactions, acquisitions in the month of November, you can again filter it with starting date and end date. You can select between 1st of November to 30th of November, whatever is there, all of them will show up here so that you can track them properly. You can see now fixed asset numbers as well as voucher numbers, dates, transaction is acquisition, which book used, for how much you have acquired them, what is the fixed asset group. So you can use this inquiry and take out an Excel file if you want to. So that's how. Then what else we have? We have fixed asset listing report. I don't know what this report is up to. Let's see. Give me a second. By the time it loads. Okay, we don't have any selections at all. It's just pinging it on screen, and you have the records to include if you want to, or the book to include. I'll just filter it and just select Companies Act book. Okay. Book. Companies Act book. Okay. Then not running in the batch. I'll run it on the screen. It would take a while. Lot of time. Yeah. So just showing what is the status of the fixed assets. See, you can see the group list of fixed assets, then the name and book of the fixed asset, which layer, then the status of fixed asset, open or not yet acquired, sold, and all details. For sold and not yet acquired assets, you can see 0, 0. Scrapped asset also you can see net book value is 0. And for the remaining assets, you can see the net book value, existing net book value for the open assets. Yeah. So it's a good report, though it shows the basic details of the asset status and the net book value. You can export it into any format you want, filter and use it for the sake, for any sake. Then we have transactions report specifically. Fixed asset roll forward report, acquisitions report, report related to fixed asset acquisitions, report related to fixed asset disposals. Mid-quarter applicability, I'm not sure. Fixed asset basis means I think for depreciation basis, for all the fixed asset transactions, fixed asset movements. You can see this fixed asset transfer report, I think in this one. Fixed asset balances report, fixed asset statement. We have a lot of them. Let's run this one, fixed asset balances. So fixed asset group I want, fixed asset number also I want. You can select any one. You can just run it. So it will bring the balances according to both Companies Act and Tax Act, I think. Yeah, you can see this Benji truck value according to Companies Act book and Tax Act book acquisition value. After that, you can see depreciations. After that, you can see net book value of the asset. So in the same manner for all the assets, you can see the details of the balances. So here you can see it's open, but some of the assets, the status is sold. Companies Act, we have sold them, right? So you bought it for 2 lakhs, then depreciation you have done for this much, then you have sold it for this much. Issue means sold. So at the end you got a profit or loss of this much. So there is no more net book value pending on the asset. That's what. If you have done any revaluations or write-ups, you could have seen them here. For see for this asset, we have some write-up. We sold it all as well. So acquisition 2 lakhs, depreciation this much, sold it for 2 lakh 10. We have a write-up in between at 10. Profit and loss. There is a profit of 1,527. Net book value is 0 for this asset. So that's of every asset details we can see here in this report. So this is also good report, fixed asset balances. Then fixed asset lending report is one we have. So normally when you lend fixed assets to the employees, so I think I have shown you the option here within the fixed asset. You can enable this one or give these details of lend to someone, like told you can create some employee name and loan it to that employee. You can give that employee name. Something like Sai Ram Shankar here. Location ID, warehouse, expected return like this. If you select a report, then you can run this fixed asset lending report actually. So you can run this report. So it will give you the fixed asset and who is possessing the fixed asset currently. So you can see there is only 2 assets that were lent for employees. So these are the sofa set and chairs that I have lent for. So you can see Susila name here, the employee name, lent to the employee, and expected return date is this one, lending date is this one. So this one just we have entered, right, for sofa set. You can see the lending date and the loan to employee name and expected return date. So in case if you have 100 computers like that, and if you have lent the computers to each employee, you can see that the details in this report. So who is possessing this asset and all. You can run a single report and find out the whoever is the person who is handling that particular fixed asset. You can also see the lending history report. So who was handling from one date to another date, and to whom it is shifted when which date. So you can see all those history details here. Then fixed asset physical inventory worksheet report. It should be an empty report actually. So we can run this empty report actually, so that you can go and verify your fixed asset later. You can tick them. I think physical location. Okay. Group by dimension. Let me select which dimension. Location. Okay. Select OK. Let's see what happens. So it'll generally give you this one. So according to location of which assets are located where, it will give you those details. This one. So it will give you empty pages here so that you can extract this report off and you can go and check that in that particular area. So this particular, where is this located? I'm not sure where this is showing up. MRF Companies Act book acquisition on so and so date. So you can give this, physical location where you have found it, comments any, then organization unit, responsible person name, last inventory, how much you can see or condition of inventory. You can give all those details in this report. You can print it out and give it to the person who is going for fixed asset audit, which generally happens in business often. So for that sake, we have this report. Then fixed asset additions report also we have actually. If you have added any details to the fixed asset additions, like I showed you earlier, you can add fixed asset additions to the vehicles, right? So it's safety rods, music system like this. So if you add such details, so you can also export that report off from the system, fixed asset additions report. So you can export that report too. So here, so there are only for vehicle one we have some adjustments, so I can see those details, then dates as well as. So if it is increasing service life, it will give yes and all. If not, no. So again, according to your selection here, whatever you have selected. So these details as it is, it will bring there generally. Then I think that would be all. You can run other reports as well, acquisition disposal reports, and see how many assets are acquired, how many assets are sold and all. Then I think that would be all. I have some other things like periodic tasks like mass transfer, means I showed you already, transferring fixed assets, lot of them at a time. Mass update, where you can update the details on fixed assets, mass update. So it's like in this one you can update placed in service start, placed in service, and you can update this depreciation convention at a time. Current depreciation convention is none. You can update new depreciation convention. I think only depreciation convention is possible for the assets to be updated here. This mass update. For the assets, if you want, so for a set of assets, if you want to update depreciation convention, you can select this asset that is acquired from this date to this date. I want this convention to be applied to all the books. You can give that, and you can also give the book ID here so that it will be updated automatically to those books on those fixed assets. Mostly for tax layer books, they'll give depreciation conventions, and you can update at mass level like this. Okay, then other than this, that would be all the important reports. We have this roll forward report. Not sure if I could extract this here. It should ask a format here, but I don't have any format mapping. I should have a format mapping here to export it. If so, unable. So there is some issue. If I have this format mapping in place, so I can export this report as well. So this gives you a complete details of the fixed assets. So from date to date, you can give what is the acquired value, and according to each year how much the depreciation it is posted, and then what is the existing net book value of the asset. If at all it is sold, what is the profit or gain that you have received on sale of the asset. Every detail you will have in this format. You have to design a format actually, so it needs some little technical assistance. Once configured the format, it will give you the details of the assets, all the roll forward details starting from the beginning of the asset to the end of the, until till date. You can run this report if you want. It's a very good report that used in business actually. So that would be all about fixed assets, I think. Then you can try a lot of options available in fixed asset. Majorly focus on what I have taught you. So those are the very important concepts, as well as those are the maximum things that any client would opt for to have. And if you have good logical understanding on how fixed assets are functioning, then as I told you, will be considered as a good consultant in the market. Practice well on fixed asset module. Let me know if you have any doubts. So no.
Hello, bro.
Yeah.
So
Santosh
what?
Chopra.
How do we make an entry if we sell an asset at 50%?
Uh, what I'm not sure. What you asked?
Yeah, when we sell an asset only for 50%,
Okay.
then how do we make that entry?
How do you make that entry? If you sell it for
When
50%,
we no, I'm selling only half of the asset.
then you have to split the asset and sell it. Without splitting the asset, you can't sell half of the asset.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If it is a single asset, you can split it into two parts and you can sell the other part. But
Okay.
you can't sell the half of the asset, existing fixed asset. There is no such feasibility. If you sell it, so entire asset will be sold off, and the remaining half will be recorded under loss again.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
once sold, you can't open a fixed asset once again. Also remember that one. If a
Okay.
fixed asset is once sold, you can't reverse the sold transaction. You can reverse the acquisition transaction or depreciation transactions, but you cannot reverse a sold transaction. Okay, suppose if
Yeah.
I'm going to one fixed asset, I'll go to one of it, like chairs, I'll go in. Let me go to books. See, this is an open status. Now I can go to transactions in the Companies Act. If this depreciation is posted for this much rate, I want to reverse this one. This is wrong and I want to reverse it. So I can directly do this one here, reverse transaction. It asks you, do you want to reverse for the same date? You can say yes and you can reverse it. Yeah, reversal for same date, yes. And post OK. So you can see this reverse transaction, reverse depreciation. You can also see the voucher for this. Accumulated depreciation will be debited and depreciation expense will be credited. Accumulated depreciation is debited, depreciation expense is credited. Reversed the original voucher automatically. So that's what here you have calculated November month's one depreciation, right? Now November month is reversed, right? So again you can see November month depreciation in the profile. So starting from November, it will again show depreciation here. Earlier, if you would have posted this one, if you would not reverse this one, it will show next depreciation will be this one here. But now it will again, it is again reversed, right? So it shows the reversed, I mean, it again shows from November itself. That's how.
JP, in case of fixed asset acquired through PO,
Mm.
can we reverse the acquisition? How can we reverse the
Good,
acquisition?
good question. Somebody asked in the interview recently this question. In case if you have acquired a fixed asset through a purchase order, one thing is that you have to uh, reverse the, I mean, you have to reverse this fixed asset separately. Okay, you have to cancel the acquisition transaction separately. Then you have to reverse the purchase order separately with a credit note. Okay, you can't link a fixed asset again while you are reversing it in a credit note. Okay, remember that.
Okay.
I think you can also link it, but that's not a good practice though if you link a fixed asset. So an acquisition entry will be posted with negative amount again if you reverse it. So it will almost be the same. Try it once, create a credit note. It's just like how you are acquiring fixed asset, there also select a fixed asset, but with negative amount, right? So
Yes, sir.
the same fixed asset you select, existing fixed asset only you select, but there you are doing second acquisition, right? For that you might have to enable the parameter multiple acquisitions in the fixed asset parameters maybe. So this one, enable this one and try to post a negative acquisition for the fixed asset again, so that another minus 50,000 will be posted for the asset and asset value will become 0. Then you can come back and suspend the asset so that nobody will use that asset further. So you can suspend it. Okay.
Okay.
Then that purchase order also will get reversed, asset also will get reversed. So that's just a suggestion. Just try it once. Okay, didn't went so far, but normally we can also reverse the acquisition transaction here automatically. Then keep this asset as suspended and you can post a credit note. But when we post a credit note, there will be again a decrease in inventory transaction. It will show because fixed asset was not linked there, right? In that situation, you can manually adjust that inventory with a reason. That is also possible. Okay. So we have many alternatives, so we might have to explore more maybe. Good question anyway. Thank you for asking. And anything else, guys, in fixed assets? No. So we can wind up the session until here today. If we don't suspend the fixed asset, what is the status of the asset? It will be open only. If you suspend an asset, you cannot post any more transactions to the asset. That's all. If you suspend it, if user is going to post any transaction, it will say that this asset is suspended. You can't post any transactions anymore. You can say that. You can again open it if you want to. Okay. Closed means when all the depreciations are run on the fixed asset, then it will automatically gets closed. At the end, the last depreciation is also run, then it will automatically gets closed. Okay, if you sell it, it will be sold. If you scrap it, it will be scrapped. Open anyway, you know it, and not a tech word also, you know it.
Jabrika, is there a possibility of assets being under like mortgage? Sometimes like.
Yeah, leasing of fixed assets. Yes. So for that, we have a new module recently introduced, asset leasing. Not recent, but there is a separate module for that, asset leasing.
Is it like mortgage or like leasing? Is it different?
No, it's leasing only. We have mortgage, we don't have. And for asset management, we have one more module. I don't think that I have that module here, but there is an asset management module wherein actually you can link some tasks to your fixed asset, like repair tasks, create service orders for repairs or maintenance sake. So you can create that. And coming to asset leasing, I don't see here actually, but there is a new module recently introduced as asset leasing. In this version, I don't have it. In that, you can maintain your lease invoices, to whom you are leasing it, what is the status of the asset, how much you are earning on the lease, and how you are depreciating the asset. So depreciation, everything is common, but earning on the asset is recorded to be. I mean, it's up to you again. If you want to record it as a capital gain, add it to the asset, or it's operational gain since it's a lease. I mean, amount on lease, up to you. Okay, I think that module covers, but not most of them are using that. I don't see any client using it yet, but you can learn and use it maybe further. If that company's most business activities are with leasing of their fixed assets like car rental company or buildings or building rental company, so then that would be the major operation that they have in business. But that module would have prominence though. And so we have much to cover in the course. So most important topics we'll cover actually: foreign currency revaluation, consolidation, and year-end closure. These three topics we'll cover actually from tomorrow. Upon completing these three topics, I would give you basic overview of data management, how you can import and export data through an Excel file into Dynamics. So that would entirely cover, but optionally, if I get time, we can take a separate session on a day for budgeting module. It's like 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Just I'll give you an overview of how budgeting module works and how it will be, what is the things that are in budgeting module. I don't see most of the clients even using budget module. Very rarely they use budget module. But learning budget module and project accounting and management will be an advantage actually. Recently they are asking these skills of project accounting and management, but I don't see many of them in Dynamics having knowledge on project accounting and management though. Not even me, sorry. But you can learn. I'll just stop the recording until here.